Hey y'all, my name is Lauren. If you don't know me, some call me Lori. Don't really have a preference, don't really care. Today I'm starting my podcast. I've chosen to title it Another Black Girl Podcast. Because clearly black girls and all black people are not a monolith. We are a wide assortment of colors. We all have our own opinions, creeds, religions, faiths, paths, walks of life. So that's why it's another Black Girl Podcast, because I'm sure there's 10 million on whatever platform I'll decide to post this on. So today is Caucasian American Independence Day. So if you're a Caucasian American tuning in, thanks for being here. And also happy Independence Day. My Independence Day was Juneteenth, which is already passed. So I guess we're all free. Allegedly. So yeah, let's get into it. This is another Black Girl Podcast. We're doing our best to make it last. This is another Black Girl Podcast. We're doing our best to make it last. Another Black Girl Podcast. Hey, I hope y'all like the theme song. I didn't want to pay somebody to write it. So if you like it, or if you have suggestions about what my theme song should actually be, comment, DM me. Most of y'all probably have my number, so text me, whatever. So today I'm having a pilot episode or an introductory icebreaker episode for all of those who don't know me. So let's get into it. I know I'm extra, y'all. I'm just learning how to use the tech and work the effects. I'm super excited if you can't tell. Okay, I just pulled up a website called Icebreakers Something that has a whole bunch of questions. So I'm going to answer 20 questions, and then that's basically going to be the end of the episode, I guess. Yeah, if anything else comes up, I'll address it along the way. So, first question. If you could have an endless supply of any food, what would you get? Well, shoot. I'm like a fake vegan now. I don't know. If wine was a food, I would get it. Next question. If you were an animal, what would you be and why? I would be a cat, so I could have 9 lives. Definitely a cat. Clearly a black one. And probably scare little kids. What is one goal you'd like to accomplish during your lifetime? That's a hard one. When I was little, I used to have a whole list of all of the things I wanted to be in one lifetime, I guess. If there was one goal I'd like to accomplish during my lifetime, a few years ago it would have been a career goal, but now the goal that I would like to accomplish during my lifetime is to find stability, balance, and to have a great, strong, supportive family. Family's so important to me. I mean, even in college when people were getting turned, whatever, I would be home, or at my grandma's nursing home, my great grandma's nursing home, my great aunt's nursing home, chilling with them. Family is so important. Next question. When you were little, who was your favorite superhero and why? I did not have one. They were probably all white. Anyways, who was my hero? A parent, a celebrity, an influential person, whatever. When I was little, my mother was my hero because it seemed like she was unstoppable. She worked for VNS, Visiting Nurse Services, and she would take her car and drive around to all the patients' house. She would go from Brooklyn to Howard Beach. We live on Long Island, so it was a lot. And then she would come home and do paperwork on her computer and try to make us dinner, take me and my sister to piano lessons, come to our shows, pick us up from after school. She did it all. And I mean, I always say as you grow older, your parents go from being superheroes to normal human beings. And I'm glad that I got to see her become a human being. And I mean, even now, I saw my human being of a mother and father and sister all get coronavirus. So that was pretty scary. But I definitely am grateful for having the opportunity to see my heroes, my sister, my dad, and my mom, my grandma, my great grandma, my great aunt, all become people. Next question. What's your favorite thing to do in the summer? Well, it's summer right now. I like to go to the beach with my mom. I haven't been yet, so if she hears this, she's gonna say I'm a hypocrite. And then also go on vacation, again with my family, because I'm a sucker. If they made a movie of your life, what would it be about, and which actor would you want to play you? So, if you don't already know me, I'm very cynical and analytical, if you haven't gotten that. If they made a movie of my life, it would probably be a lot of sitting and staring out a window. I'm not even gonna hold you. It would be like the scene in Twilight. I don't know which one of like the million trilogy, whatever's. But that scene where I think it was Edward or Bella, and they're like staring out a window, and like they're watching like all the seasons change, and it goes from like yellow and red leaves to snow to spring to summer, and then like back again multiple times. I feel like it would be a little bit of that. It would be hella psychological. I would love for the Viola Davis and Angela Bassett to play me. Clearly that's a compliment to me because they're immortal. But yeah, it would probably be about me making food and reading and probably having an existential crisis and crying. But that's that's besides the point. If you were an ice cream flavor, which one would you be? Ooh, the non-dairy mint chocolate chip, I think. Because Ben & Jerry's is woke and they know that Black Lives Matter. Next question. Anything Ben & Jerry's. That's the answer. Anything Ben & Jerry's. What's my favorite cartoon character and why? I don't know her name. I think it was number 7. It might have been number 1. Anyway, regardless of number, it was the black girl from Codename Kids Next Door, who I think was voiced by Regina King, who also voiced the Boondocks. Number whatever, aka the black girl in Codename Kids Next Door, because she was badass and always got the job done. Yeah, that's it. That's my answer. What's the ideal dream job for you? Child, Broadway is closed till 2021. I don't know what I'm doing. I just graduated last May. I don't know. Next question. Are you a morning or a night person? I think I'm a night person. Definitely a night person. Since the quarantine started, I've been up to like 2 a.m. What are my pet peeves or interesting things about you that you dislike? Okay, first of all, my pet peeves are when people don't listen. My pet peeves are when my sister makes a big breakfast and leaves everything she used to make said breakfast in the sink. And when she doesn't unload the dishwasher. Yeah, I think that's it. Or when people take my parking spot, because that really gets me tight, and my neighbors do it all the time. What are interesting things about you that you dislike? Oof. I dislike how long it takes to wash my hair. Definitely. And my little gut. Like, if I could get rid of that, I would probably be on level like Meg the Stallion. Nah. You know what? I'm not even gonna say that because that's cap. That's definitely cap. But if I had some abs, I would be unstoppable. That's it. That's absolutely it. Okay. What's the weirdest thing I've ever eaten? Ooh, that Hawaiian pizza. That's like super controversial now with the pineapples and like ham, like pre-fake veganism. The Domino's one was always like the sweetest pineapples. That joint slept. I don't care what y'all say. Like, I will fight to the death. Pineapples belong on pizza when you're in the mood for it. Name one of your favorite things about someone in your family. I'll name one for every. I'll name one thing per member of family. What? Okay. My sister has her own business. Shameless plug, her Instagram is _beauty4ash. I share her Instagram account on my page all the time. She does my hair. That's the only stylist I will ever go to unless she moves far away from me. I pay full price because everyone wants to ask me. Shameless plug, she does natural hairstyling, crochet, lace fronts, box braids, trims, hot oil treatments, all of that, period. Anyway, next thing. For my dad is a reverend of the church he went to as a child. So the family church post Great Migration, after they came up from the South, went to and eventually landed on the church that I go to. I didn't meet my grandparents on my father's side, my paternal grandparents, but that is the church they went to. That is the church that has become members of my family. So he is the reverend of his childhood church and my childhood church too, which is super cool and takes a lot of tenacity and a lot of backbone. Yeah. And he works a full-time job. So he works 2 full-time jobs because he has to bury the dead, marry people, christen babies, preach every Sunday, almost every Sunday now. And then go to work on Monday after multiple services. So yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot that he's had to endure. Favorite thing about my mom. Favorite thing about my mom is she always gets the job done. Even when my great-grandmother was sick in the hospital, before she passed, my mom would go to work and then come home to shower and then go to the hospital and spend the night. And during that time, I would stay with my great-grandmother during the day. My mom is like the Energizer Bunny. She never stops moving, and she always comes through for her family, for her friends, and she always, 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 always stays prayed up and prayed up over us. Even though it can be sometimes annoying, but that's besides the point. My favorite thing about my grandma is that she can always smell or taste alcohol in a drink, regardless of how much or how little you put in. She can always do it. If she can't, I would be horrified. But yeah, and she's shady, and she loves to dance, and she loves food, and I think that's where I get it from. Favorite thing about my great aunt is she will stop, pull down heaven and earth, and flatten all mountains if she does not get food or her coffee. And it has to be strong, and it has to be filled to the top. Favorite thing about my great-grandma, who recently passed on March 1st, is not her strength, but her large heart. Definitely her large heart. But don't get me wrong, like, I'm about to lie and say, like, she was nice all the time, because my cousins had a dog, and she always used to kick it, and she used to cheat when we would play games on the low. But love you, Grandma. That's it. Next question. If I had to describe myself using 3 words, it would be stubborn, shady, and fiercely kind. I know I cheated. Argue with your mother. Don't argue with me. Yeah, so that's it on the icebreaker segment. I guess that was short. Before we move on to the next segment, I just want to say that I am a cisgendered, able-bodied. If you can't tell, if you haven't been able to tell, I am black. Black. On both sides. Black. I have the receipts. My ancestors were slaves. I'm black. African American, black, whatever. I'm black. That's important. Keep that in mind. I am able-bodied. I am cisgendered. I am in a heteronormative relationship. I am attempting to educate myself every day and be a better ally to my trans brothers, sisters, and siblings, my disabled brothers, sisters, and siblings. And yeah, we're out protesting, trying to abolish the police and change the system. We're out here trying to get it. We're out here advocating for the disenfranchised. Because that's what Jesus would do. And if you don't believe me, go read your Bible. And also, I have the privilege of being Christian in a Christian nation. And that is very important. I'm not even about to get into it, but if you don't know why, do better. So yeah, with that being said, I also have the privilege of coming from a household where I have both my mother and father. I have the privilege of coming from the middle class, and I don't want this to come off as me bragging, because I'm not. I just want you to keep that in mind as you continue to listen and tune in to this podcast. Even as Black people, there are some Black people that have more privilege, there are some Black people that have more privilege than others, and that's important to keep in mind. If you're Black and you're Christian, you are privileged, because there are Black Muslims out there who face Islamophobia and racism. If you are Black and able-bodied, you are also privileged, because even though you are Black, you're not disabled. If you're Black and skinny, you're privileged, because there are people out there who are Black who are also facing fat phobia, which is important, and it's very real. And like I said before, I'm trying each day to become a better ally. So yeah. Before we move on to the next segment, I would just like to say that I'm not exactly sure what this podcast is going to be about, but I'm so grateful that you're here and that you're tuned in. So with that being said, now we're going to go on to our next segment. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. In preparation for November 3rd, I just wanted to take a minute to talk to y'all about Ballot Ready. Previously, when I voted, especially like one of the first few times, there was a whole lot of names on there. I recognized some, I didn't recognize others, and a whole lot of bubbles, and I was freaking confused. BallotReady.org is a great forum for prepping for elections and voting, especially. On this website, you can compare candidates based on their stances on issues, their biographies, endorsements, and then you can save your choices to use whether you vote by mail or in the voting booth. You can even request your absentee ballot or make a plan to vote earlier on election day. This election matters. Make sure you have a plan to vote and remain informed. So again, go to ballotready.org and enter your address to make your plan to vote and remain informed. Because if y'all know me, as I'm sure you do, I don't like what's going on in the White House right now. And we got to get this man out. So, if you agree, if you don't, whatever. But it is our right to vote, so we might as well exercise it. So this has been an advertisement in part of a charitable initiative in partnership with Ballot Ready. I'm not monetizing off of it in any way, but I just want y'all to remain informed. I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. It's time for the next segment. Oh yeah, it's time for the next segment. Stay tuned. It's time for the... All right. So for the last segment, I would like to... Okay, seriously this time. For the last segment, I would love to end this podcast with one or two, maybe a list of positive affirmations. I would end it with prayer, but like I said, I'm a Christian, privileged woman, and I would like everyone to be able to join in, regardless of creed. So, with that being said, it is Caucasian American Independence Day, also known as July 4th. And in the midst of all these protests, where it seems like our country is even more divided than it was before, Black people have been screaming that their voices matter. And they do. Our lives matter. Our stories matter. And in thinking a lot about that, I think that the affirmation that I would like to put out and share with you, and if you would be so kind as to repeat after me, I would love for you to engage into and with this affirmation. Quiet your mind. Today's affirmation is, I am enough. And yes, I may have watched the Viola Davis video before I came onto this podcast, but I think that that is so important. Hopefully my podcast audience is filled with diverse shades, walks of life, and cultures. But it is so important to know, to remember, and to internalize this affirmation. I am enough. You are enough. Your story is enough. On Twitter and on Facebook, on all my social media platforms, it seems like all I see right now is protests about police brutality and racial inequality in this country. So many try to discredit. So many try to say that we're lying. So many try to blame the victims of these crimes and of these injustices. Victims are not at fault. We matter. We are enough. We don't need to explain ourselves. We don't need to beg for forgiveness when being gaslit. We are enough. That is the only affirmation today. So if there is anything that you take with you from this podcast, you are enough. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in to my first episode of another Black Girl podcast. I don't know why I just said it like that. I'm so sorry, y'all. If you forgot, my name's Lauren, and now I'm your internet friend. So don't forget about me. This is another Black Girl podcast. Doing our best to make it last. Hey, hey, hey. This is another Black Girl podcast. Y'all can't see me dancing, but I'm dancing. To make it last. Another So, I love y'all. Be well, be safe. Wash your hands. If you're black, stay beautiful. That's it.